Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent based on novel. So let's start. In the midst of the battle, Divine Emperor Jiku swung his right arm, transforming it into a striped giant serpent. The serpent moved, stirring the sea, with a power that could destroy the heavens and earth. As he stomped his foot, it turned into a massive heavenly pillar, suppressing all directions. Every move he made was of immense power. Divine Emperor Jiku can only exert part of the power of the world-level primordial bloodline, showing just a few traits. Luo Feng knew very well that Divine Emperor Jiku's exploitation of his bloodline potential was still too weak. If he was strong enough, even by exploiting just a small portion of the world-level primordial bloodline, Divine Emperor Ji could leap out of the braided cage and become a high-level primordial life. Too weak. Or rather, I am too strong. So thought Luo Feng. His immense body, with an energy reserve of 12 billion times, even if he could only perfectly control 1,200,000,000 times at the moment, his strength was a notch higher compared to when he battled Secret Ruins Divine Emperor and the others. Handling the body with an energy reserve of 12 billion times had no effect on his strength eruption. When I battled Secret Ruins Divine Emperor and others, I was one major level above the pinnacle level. Now I feel I'm another major level higher. Yet I am still considered within the braided cage. Luo Feng sighed to himself. The life within the braided cage, no matter how numerous, are ants compared to high-level primordial life. Boom. Luo Feng, with countless thoughts in mind, easily subdued Divine Emperor Jiku. Divine Emperor Jiku raged madly, but no matter how he exploded, he could not shake the endless blood sea. The gap was truly too vast. In the end, his entire body returned to normal form, and his aura completely withdrew. That was satisfying. Divine Emperor Jiku gathered his aura, smiled, and said, but the gap with Luo Feng Divine Emperor is too large, far from being his match. With a single thought, Luo Feng put away the endless blood sea, leaving the garden with not a single flower or blade of grass harmed. Truly the invincible level. Daoist monarch Long Ju marveled. At this moment, he also understood. There are 3 levels of invincibility. 1 is the spiritual will breaking out of the braided cage. 2 is exploiting the world-level primordial bloodline to a certain level. And 3 is the half-primordial's fusion Dao. Merely having the spiritual will break out of the braided cage is indeed the most common and weakest of the 3 invincible levels. This Luo Feng, it seems he does not cultivate bloodline. Does he cultivate the fusion Dao? Daoist monarch Long Ju speculated, but why has he never been guided? Luo Feng, Daoist monarch Long Ju, Divine Emperor Jiku, Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaijin all sat apart. Luo Feng Divine Emperor, you can tell. Divine Emperor Jiku straightforwardly inquired, although I have refined the world-level primordial bloodline into my body. But I can only exploit a very small potential, unable to leap out of the braided cage. Does Luo Feng Divine Emperor have any solutions? Primordial bloodline, must it be refined into the body first before exploiting its potential? Luo Feng asked back, can't one carefully study the primordial bloodline, research its mysteries, understand its essence, and then refine it? Bo Xiu and the others listened intently. Breaking out of the braided cage was difficult for them. If the bloodline path could break out of the braided cage, they would willingly pursue it. Divine Emperor Jiku nodded. The bloodline path can be divided into 2 major types. The first type is to refine the bloodline into the body, and then exploit the bloodline's potential. This is what innate primordial life forms do. The second type is what Luo Feng Divine Emperor mentioned, to first comprehend the mysteries contained within the primordial bloodline, research its essence, and then refine it. Naturally, one can unleash the bloodline's mighty power. Divine Emperor Jiku said, "This second type is too difficult. Even studying high-level primordial bloodline, although one can use treasures exchanged from large primordial halls to thoroughly perceive all mysteries of the high-level primordial bloodline, truly comprehending it. Too difficult. It's very difficult." Daoist monarch Long Ju also said, "A single high-level primordial bloodline may contain the mysteries of over a dozen Dao. How many do we understand? How much can we comprehend?" Luo Feng nodded. Indeed. Innate primordial life forms are naturally born within the infinite primordial space, so their bloodlines contain various Dao. Like the blood scale of the Star Tower, Luo Feng has observed that life-type secret patterns occupy 34.3%, destruction-type secret patterns occupy 9.2%, and there are many other categories. So even with Luo Feng's deep accumulation in life and destruction, what he mainly studies about the Star Tower blood-colored scale is about 43%. There are many paths Luo Feng is not good at. The infinite and life paths I excel in only reach the half-primordial level. Divine Emperor Jiku shook his head. "I found the most compatible high-level primordial bloodline, with life occupying 50% and infinite occupying 30%. Yet many of these mysteries are parts that escape the braided cage, and I can only understand some parts. To truly refine a primordial bloodline, one must comprehend 70% of it." Divine Emperor Jiku looked at Luo Feng. To comprehend 70%. How difficult that is. I couldn't even comprehend 70% of a high-level primordial bloodline. S tilde the novel tilde ia.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. The path to comprehending bloodlines is too advanced, and my comprehension is far from enough. Therefore, exploiting bloodline potential is more suitable for me, said Divine Emperor Jiku. Beside him, Daoist monarch Long Ju also said, "From what I know, those who break out of the braided cage by the bloodline route mostly exploit the bloodline potential. To comprehend the essence of the bloodline. 1 in 10,000. Luo Feng thought for a moment. Low-level primordial bloodline, the mysteries of life and death, I can fully comprehend. For high-level primordial bloodline, the difficulty of my comprehension increases significantly. However, I have already comprehended more than 70% of 3 types. They are Heavenly Fire Shadow, Ghost Prison Disaster Beast, and Catastrophe Beast. The Heavenly Fire Shadow, life type occupies about 50%, destruction type about 30%. In fact, any innate primordial life forms bloodline mysteries will inherently contain life category secret patterns, just with varying proportions. Heavenly Fire Shadow, because of Luo Feng's near comprehension in life and destruction, has already surpassed a 70% comprehension of the entire bloodline, allowing for a firm grasp to become a high-level primordial life. Ghost Prison Disaster Beast, with life occupying 40% and destruction occupying 40%, is also a major focus of Luo Feng's comprehension, with a comprehension degree that also surpasses 70% for the entire bloodline. Catastrophe Beast is the shadow of the Catastrophe Beast Luo Feng once witnessed on the land of origin. The Catastrophe Beast mainly involves life and death types, with destruction over 50%, and life occupying about 30%. Luo Feng's comprehension of this primordial bloodline also exceeds 70%. If I am willing, I can become a high-level primordial life at any time. I can even choose to integrate all 3 bloodlines into my body and exploit all their potential. Luo Feng even had a feeling that these 3 high-level primordial bloodlines are among the strongest of their level. Once all 3 are fused and their potential entirely exploited, they may directly reach the limits of high-level primordial life. Perhaps there is even hope to break through the limits and ascend to the world-level primordial life plane. The bloodline path is said to have many future troubles. Luo Feng did not have a deep understanding, but it was already a consensus in the cultivation world. Though the bloodline route has high potential, it comes with innumerable future troubles, making the path of the enlightened the best road. Divine Emperor Ji Ku. The red-robed youth Kaijin couldn't help but ask, "We are also planning to transition to bloodline cultivation. What is the difference between refining a world-level primordial bloodline and a high-level primordial bloodline into the body?" In the dark sacred realm, many have refined high-level primordial bloodlines and possess rich experience. But when it comes to refining a world-level primordial bloodline, currently only Divine Emperor Ji Ku has succeeded in the dark sacred realm. "You should all know," said Divine Emperor Ji Ku, who usually wouldn't bother, but now spoke openly, "the bloodline path is generally recognized to have two major risks. One is the influence of bloodline will, and the other is that bloodline comprehension can distort one's self-awareness, effectively a form of memory contamination." All present listened attentively. Luo Feng was quite interested, as he knew very little about the bloodline path. Most cultivators in the dark sacred realm redeem high-level primordial bloodlines. Divine Emperor Ji Ku explained, some even merge multiple bloodlines into their bodies. However, in truth, each additional bloodline brings an additional bloodline will. The bloodline path is best specialized in one, Divine Emperor Ji Ku stated, which is why I chose to redeem the world-level primordial bloodline. Even if I become a high-level primordial life form, I still wish to specialize in this single bloodline to strive for the world-level primordial. But the bloodline will of world-level primordial bloodline is stronger, the memory contamination is more severe, and the potential excavation is more difficult. "Perhaps I made a wrong choice," Divine Emperor Ji Ku self-deprecatingly remarked. "Perhaps the high-level primordial bloodline suits me better. I might have overestimated my abilities. Is merging multiple bloodlines necessarily bad?" Luo Feng asked. "There are also those who merge multiple bloodlines." Dragon 9 Daoist Monarch also chimed in, "Those deeply researching the mysteries of bloodlines, comprehending profoundly, can even merge multiple bloodlines into one to form stronger bloodlines, thereby achieving world-level primordial. Such instances are few and rare. Only by thoroughly understanding bloodlines can multiple be merged." Divine Emperor Ji Ku looked at Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaijin, if transitioning to bloodline cultivation, still focus on specialization. Bo Xiu and the other two nodded. Luo Feng Divine Emperor. Ji Ku looked at Luo Feng, "Now, I've encountered too many obstacles in excavating my bloodline potential. Could you give some guidance? In terms of bloodlines, my understanding isn't as comprehensive as you two." Luo Feng smiled. Dragon 9 and Ji Ku both began to speculate. This Luo Feng Divine Emperor is likely on the third invincible path, the Fusion Dao. The first two paths would require a strong concern for bloodline cultivation information. Ensuring enough information is gathered. Luo Feng Divine Emperor, I believe you've surely researched primordial bloodlines and studied many materials. Ji Ku Divine Emperor inquired, "If it were you, how would you excavate bloodline potential while cultivating primordial bloodlines?" Dragon 9, Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaijin all listened intently. An invincible level cultivator's mindset would undoubtedly have an impact on them. If it were me, first, find a compatible primordial bloodline, observe its detailed secret pattern map, and delve deeply for an extended period. Second, merge with the physical body. After merging, observe the impact of the bloodline mysteries on the body. Based on the changes in the body, infer the functions of these bloodline secret patterns. Combine the two to enhance the understanding of the bloodline. Finally, follow the most common practice in the cultivation world, submit to the bloodline instinct, and excavate bloodline potential, Luo Feng explained. I've tried comprehending, but can't see through it. Ji Ku Divine Emperor shook his head. Luo Feng understood too. High-level primordial bloodlines are beyond Ji Ku Divine Emperor's comprehension, and the world-level primordial might be entirely unintelligible. I've heard that if spiritual will can break out of the braided cage, it can suppress bloodline will to a certain extent, allowing deeper excavation of bloodline potential, Luo Feng mentioned. But my spiritual will can't break out of the braided cage. Jiku Divine Emperor admitted helplessly, is there a good method to break out of the braided cage? Cultivating at our level, the spirit has already undergone much tempering. Dragon 9 Daoist monarch stated, the only way to enhance spiritual will left is through the improvement of one's path, which will yield an elevation of spiritual will. But my path can't improve anymore. Jiku Divine Emperor looked at Luo Feng. Do you know that high-level primordial life forms also vary in size? Luo Feng directly stated, why can those of massive size maintain such a form? Do you know the root cause? Dragon 9, Jiku, Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaijin all were intrigued. They had all understood the differences in body sizes from the intelligence on high-level primordial bloodlines within large primordial halls. Some that are extremely large have spiritual consciousness that can command such vast physical bodies. This is because of having a special mind consciousness system. Luo Feng described, it is far more profound and efficient than the normal consciousness net we form. You can research high-level primordial bloodlines, stripping away other mysterious interferences and focusing on the mind consciousness system. Luo Feng explained, study multiple types to accumulate experience. When the mind consciousness grows larger, the spiritual will more easily breaks through. Luo Feng could feel the perfection of his mind consciousness system making his mind consciousness rapidly grow and hinting at a will transformation, even feeling this breakthrough was increasingly imminent. So Luo Feng emerged to seek the spiritual awakening. Mind consciousness system. Research high-level primordial bloodlines. But also strip other mysterious interferences. All five present felt somewhat perplexed upon hearing Luo Feng. Jiku couldn't help but say, I can't distinguish which are mind consciousness systems and which are other mysteries. I just feel these secret patterns are a jumbled mess. I can't even fully discern my own path, which I specialize in. High-level primordial bloodlines are too difficult. Dragon 9 Daoist monarch agreed, with low-level primordial bloodlines, we can still categorize mysteries and study them carefully. Luo Feng gently shook his head. Low-level primordial bloodlines don't possess a powerful mind consciousness system. This statement left Jiku Divine Emperor, Bo Xiu, and the others rather disappointed. There are no shortcuts to cultivation. Researching the so-called mind consciousness system alone requires thoroughly dissecting high-level primordial bloodlines. If one can dismantle and categorize high-level primordial bloodlines for study, upon spending sufficient time, they can thoroughly understand and match themselves with a high-level primordial bloodline, thereby attaining high-level primordial life. Our spiritual wills are inadequate, our comprehension is insufficient, and even our ability to excavate bloodline potential is lacking. How can we break out of the braided cage? Jiku Divine Emperor shook his head. Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaijin also understood the situation clearly. Relying on bloodlines to break out of the braided cage at least requires satisfying one of three conditions: willpower, comprehension, and the ability to excavate bloodline potential. But perhaps the last item of excavating bloodline potential remains elusive. Luo Feng Divine Emperor. Dragon 9 Daoist monarch asked, I wish to inquire, is there any method to comprehend paths I'm not proficient in? Comprehend a Dao one is not good at. Luo Feng asked in surprise, since you're not good at it, why spend so much effort? He was focused on what he excelled at. Like the path of matter, Luo Feng felt he had some talent there, otherwise, he couldn't have explored the perfect divine body by himself. But clearly, he excelled most in the paths of life and destruction, with the highest efficiency. Is there a way? Dragon 9 Daoist monarch pressed on. This was a question he had asked many cultivators. He would not miss any opportunity to seek advice. Luo Feng thought for a moment before responding. In enlightenment, there are no shortcuts. There is only one path. Thick accumulation leads to thin release. If you cannot comprehend, it means your accumulation is insufficient. Dragon 9 Daoist monarch was stunned and nodded. Bo Xiu, go and let the two friends in, Luo Feng said with a smile. One is called Flame Wind God Emperor, and the other is Thunder God Emperor. Bo Xiu immediately understood. He knew from Yuan Xiong Palace Master that Luo Feng came from the land of origin, and he also knew about the few divine emperors who emerged from the land of origin. At this moment, in front of the cave mansion's garden, over 100,000 cultivators had gathered. They were bustling about, waiting for the invincible presence, Luo Feng Divine Emperor, to discuss the Tao. The primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor were in a corner, and in the dark sacred realm, they counted as the lowest level in strength, hence their position was also the most remote. Flame Wind God Emperor, Thunder God Emperor. Suddenly came a voice. The gazes of more than 100,000 cultivators fell upon Bo Xiu Divine Emperor. Everyone knew that among the three followers under the command of the invincible presence Luo Feng Divine Emperor, one was Bo Xiu. Both primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor were a bit bewildered. Was the call for them? The title of Thunder God Emperor, in the dark sacred realm, there was certainly not just a few hundred, but perhaps even 1,000. Maybe it was just a common name. But addressing both Flame Wind God Emperor and Thunder God Emperor simultaneously. It's calling us. Primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor had spotted it, seeing Bo Xiu Divine Emperor flying towards them. Luo Feng Divine Emperor invites you two inside, Bo Xiu Divine Emperor said with a smile. After all, as fellow natives of Luo Feng Divine Emperor's homeland, naturally, he had to be polite. All right. All right. Though primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor had gone through a lot, at this moment, under the gaze of over 100,000 cultivators, and with even the weakest among these cultivators being on par with them, the pressure on them was naturally quite significant. With all eyes on them, the two were escorted into the inner garden. Why would Luo Feng Divine Emperor summon those two? Those two, I could tell at a glance, one is a half-primordial bloodline cultivator, and the other is a late-stage Divine Emperor Enlightened One. Why were they summoned? With so many pinnacle beings here, is it their turn? Didn't you hear? Luo Feng Divine Emperor invited them himself, which means Luo Feng Divine Emperor already knows them. The cultivators were buzzing with discussion. Inside the garden, primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor entered the vast garden, and this garden was much larger than the cave mansion they had bought. Although they owned some special life remnants and other treasures which they could sell, and could be considered a bit wealthy, having weak strength meant every expense in the dark sacred realm had to be carefully calculated. Thus, they saved where they could on living arrangements. Brother Luo Feng, they have been brought, Bo Xiu said. The primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor saw it. A man in black clothes and black hair sat centrally in the main seat. Dragon 9 Daoist Monarch and Divine Emperor Ji Ku sat below him. Bo Xiu, Bai Yin, and Kaizhen sat more towards the edges. The black-haired man turned his gaze towards them. Primogenitor Yang Feng, Thunder Ancestor, long time no see, Luo Feng said with a smile. The pressure on primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor was immense, and their hearts trembled. Luo Feng Divine Emperor, just call me Flame Wind. Sa the novelfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Luo Feng Divine Emperor, my original name was Xiu Ma, please call me Xiu Ma. Both primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor immediately replied. Ha ha ha. Luo Feng laughed and introduced, only a few divine emperors have emerged from my homeland, the source world. In the dark sacred realm, it's just me, flame, wind, and thunder. Speaking of which, these two are my seniors. So they are from the same homeland. Divine Emperor Ji Ku and Dragon 9 Daoist Monarch noted the names Flame, Wind, and Thunder. On this day, primogenitor Yang Feng and Thunder Ancestor, who were originally insignificant in the dark sacred realm, had their names quickly discovered by various intelligence forces and were soon known to many cultivators. Their martial prowess was average, but they had an extraordinary point. They were fellow natives of the invincible presence Luo Feng Divine Emperor. This video will end here.